My wife said she was going to sell me, and I thought she was joking until Prime Sales Day, when she actually put me up for sale online. The description goes like this. This is my husband, a good-for-nothing freeloader without any income. If you're interested in a spineless bum, feel free to place an order. The services are at the buyer's discretion. $200 a day. $50,000 buys out his entire future. Whoever buys the rest of his life will have him exclusively, and I'll divorce him on the spot. I wish you all the happiness in the world. She posted this to mock and humiliate me, but she never imagined that someone, a rich woman, would actually buy my future. Dexter, I'm selling you. My wife, Samantha Yates, smirked as she handed me her phone to show me the post. My face darkened as I read it. When we got married, I already had my own business. Afterward, she enjoyed the good life I provided. I even built her parents a house back home worth hundreds of thousands and gave her brother $200,000 to help him buy a house and get married. In our third year of marriage, my tech platform company went under. Since then, I've been working from home, developing a video game. But in her eyes, that makes me a lazy bum who just plays games all day, never earning a dime. Samantha, isn't this going a little too far mocking me like this? I said, my voice cold. When things were good, I never hesitated to give everything I could for you and your family. But now that I'm down, you throw this in my face too far. You've been holed up at home for 2 years doing nothing but gaming. Am I wrong to call you a waste of space? She scoffed. And don't flatter yourself. No one's going to buy you anyway. It doesn't matter if anyone does. Just putting me up there shows how little you think of me. And I've told you 100 times, I'm working on a game. When it takes off, everything will turn around. Get a grip, Dexter. You'll never turn things around. Oh, and how can you be so sure of that? She sneered. Go look in a mirror. You look like a bum. The only difference between you and a street beggar is your clothes, and you're still talking about turning things around. My time is going into developing the game. Enough. I don't have time for your excuses. She grabbed her bag and headed for the door. It's past 8 p.m. Where are you going? I asked. To work, obviously. How else do you think we'll pay the rent? She shot back icily. After my company went under, the bank took back our house. I'll pay the rent. I shouted. Instinctively, she just laughed, slamming the door behind her. After a few cigarettes, I strapped on my helmet, opened up the delivery app, and waited for an order. Soon enough, I got a delivery for crawfish, and the customer even left a $50 tip asking that I peel the crawfish when I got there. After picking up the crawfish, I made my way to the customer at the Galactic Lounge karaoke bar. About half an hour later, I found myself outside room 808. Just as I reached for the door, I saw her Samantha. Inside, a group of 7 or 8 people were laughing and singing with Samantha, sitting right in the middle next to her ex, Tyson Caldwell. They were singing Only True Love, looking like a couple. Didn't she say she was working late? Guess she's working overtime at karaoke. I could feel the heat rise on my scalp like a storm cloud had just settled over my head. Just then, a heavy-set girl opened the door. Come on in. I stepped inside. Samantha, engrossed in singing, hadn't even noticed me. Just sit over there and peel the crawfish for me. Let me know when you're done, she said, pointing to a corner. I settled in back, turned to them, and started peeling. After a few minutes, the group decided to play a game of Spin the Truth. Samantha lost and picked truth. So how often do you and your husband? You know, Rebecca? The heavy-set girl giggled, prying into her private life. Ugh, don't make me sick. Forget weekly. We haven't done a thing in over a year. Samantha scoffed, full of disdain. Ever since I lost everything, she's kept her distance from me. No way. Not even once in a year. Are you telling the truth? Someone chimed in, incredulous. I swear. If I'm lying, let me get hit by a car, she said, raising her hand like she was making an oath. Well, does your husband even function? One of them asked with a snicker. If he doesn't, I'll just not like I care. She shot back. Samantha, that sounds miserable. Someone sighed. It's absolute hell. You guys don't know how disgusting he is. Lazing around all day on video games, living off me. Every minute I'm home with that deadbeat is torture. She sneered. Oh, Samantha, you deserve better, Tyson said, pulling her into a comforting hug. If it weren't for your mom opposing us back then, I wouldn't have married that loser out of spite. Samantha sniffled, clinging to him with tears streaming down her face. Samantha, I let you down. Don't cry. It hurts me even more to see you like this, he said softly, brushing her tears away. Come on, a few tears aren't enough. How about a kiss to really make it better? Yeah, kiss to rekindle those old flames. The others cheered. I stole a glance at them, and fury burned in every cell of my body. They stared deeply into each other's eyes, Samantha shyly biting her lip before closing her eyes and tilting her head up. What's wrong with you? Why would you just start hitting people? Samantha snapped at me, her tone icy. What's wrong with me? I shook with rage, clenching my jaw. My head is practically drowning in storm clouds, and I'm just supposed to sit back and take it? Tell me where you see any infidelity here, Samantha said, deflecting. Oh, please. You were about to kiss him, and you're still denying it. So what if we kiss? Are you going to lose some imaginary pride over it? If I'm shameless, who's to blame? You? You live like a spineless loser, like some maggot in a sewer. Disgusting and worthless. She spat. My chest felt like it was going to explode. If you can't make Samantha happy, maybe you should take the high road and set her free, Rebecca suggested smugly. Right. Know your place. Samantha was the campus queen in college. And just look at her. Still gorgeous. Look at you now, a lowly delivery guy. How much do you even make a day? Another girl added, scoffing. Turns out these were all Samantha's college friends. Go take a long look in the mirror. After what I witnessed that night, the rage consuming me was indescribable. My head boiled as I left that karaoke bar, leaving the peeled crawfish on the table, just as she had ordered, but not without casting one final look at Samantha. She barely noticed my exit, too busy laughing and being comforted by her ex-boyfriend, Tyson. The mere thought of his name made my stomach churn. On the way back home, her words echoed relentlessly in my mind. Disgusting and worthless. That's how she saw me. Nothing more than a dead weight, a beggar in better clothes. And the worst part was the smug look on her face, as if I was powerless to fight back, as if it was my destiny to endure all of it. When I got home, I sat on the couch for hours, staring at the wall. My life wasn't just a failure in her eyes. It was as though I didn't even have the right to try and make things better. I could have exploded in that karaoke room, shouted, fought back, but no. I wouldn't give her and that group of parasites the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. She thought I was weak? Well, Samantha was about to find out who the real weak one was. I spent the entire night planning. The next day, while Samantha was still asleep, I reviewed every document and contract proving the money I had poured into her family. That house I built for her parents? It was in my name. The loan I gave her brother? Not a cent had been paid back. Every detail was documented, and I knew exactly how to use it. When she woke up, acting as if nothing had happened, my mind was made up. She tried to ignore me while preparing coffee, but I interrupted her. Samantha, we need to talk. She gave me a bored look, as if already expecting another pathetic attempt from me. What is it now, Dexter? Are you going to whine about that post again? She said, scrolling through her phone. I took a deep breath to keep from snapping. I'm not going to whine. I'm just going to tell you that I'm done. Done being treated like garbage by someone I put on a pedestal for years. You want to sell me? Fine. But let's start by settling your debts first. She froze, finally looking at me with a mix of confusion and suspicion. What are you talking about? I'm talking about your parents' house, the money I gave your brother. All of it is documented, and I'm demanding it back. Don't worry, I won't humiliate you publicly like you did to me. I'll handle it the proper way, legally. Her face went pale for a moment, and I thought I saw a flicker of fear. But, as always, she quickly regained her composure. You're pathetic. Are you really going to fight over money now, Dexter? After everything I've done for you? I laughed, unable to believe her audacity. Everything you've done for me? Samantha, you've never done anything for me that wasn't about what you could gain in return. But don't worry, you won't have to deal with me much longer. Our marriage is over. She stared at me in disbelief, then let out a derisive laugh. You think you can make it on your own? Look at you. You have nothing, Dexter. Nothing. I'm the only thing standing between you and living on the streets? It's funny you say that, because that's exactly how I've felt about you for years. But now I realize I was wrong. You were never my support, Samantha. You were the weight I carried for far too long. I grabbed my things and walked out, leaving her standing there in the kitchen. My first step was to find a lawyer. I explained everything: the money, the house, the investments I'd made in her family. He assured me I had a strong case and got to work immediately. At the same time, I poured myself into my project. If Samantha thought my game was a joke, she was about to choke on every word she'd ever said. 3 months later, I received news that the case was progressing well. Her parents' house was about to be auctioned off to repay me, and her brother would either have to pay back the loan or face legal consequences. During this time, I worked relentlessly on my game, putting in sleepless nights and investing every ounce of effort into it. And then it happened. The game launched. Not only was it well received, but it became an immediate hit. Positive reviews, sales skyrocketing. Within weeks, I was earning more money than I'd ever imagined. When I received my first million, the only thing I felt was relief. It wasn't about the money. It was about proving to myself that I wasn't the failure Samantha claimed I was. One day, as I was reviewing contracts in my new office, I got an unexpected message. It was from Samantha. "We need to talk. I'm sorry for everything. Can we start over?" I laughed out loud reading it. She was desperate. Through mutual acquaintances, I learned that her brother had to sell his house and that her parents were struggling financially. And Samantha? Tyson had abandoned her as soon as he realized she was no longer financially stable. I ignored the message. Samantha was part of a chapter in my life that was closed for good. Today, I'm focused on the future, on my success, and on never letting anyone treat me the way she did again. Because contrary to what she believed, I was never weak. I was just waiting for the right moment to show my strength. When I received that message from Samantha asking to talk and start over, I felt a mix of disgust and satisfaction. There she was, the same woman who once treated me like dead weight, now crawling back into my life. Ignoring her wouldn't be enough, not after everything she'd done. She needed to feel the humiliation and pain she had so easily inflicted on me. I agreed to meet her. I chose an upscale restaurant, the kind of place she used to love when we were living the high life. I knew she couldn't afford it now, and that was part of the plan. When I arrived, Samantha was already there, dressed in an outfit that clearly didn't match the sophistication of the venue. She tried to look elegant, but her tired expression and fake smile gave away her desperation. "Dexter, you came," she said nervously, forcing a smile. "Of course I did. How could I miss an opportunity like this?" I replied, sitting down calmly. I ordered the most expensive wine on the menu, making sure the waiter announced its price out loud. Well, I wanted to apologize for everything. I was such an idiot. I didn't know how to appreciate you, Samantha began, her voice rehearsed and shaky. "Oh, don't worry. I appreciated you enough for both of us," I retorted, my smile cold. She went on, talking about how everything had gone wrong for her, how Tyson had abandoned her, how her parents were about to lose their house, and how she missed the man I used to be. Every word felt like a pathetic attempt to gain my sympathy. I let her talk, watching every gesture, every fake expression of regret. "You know, Samantha, you're right. I've changed, but not because of you. Despite you," I said, my voice firm. "You humiliated me, treated me like garbage, exposed me to the world as a failure. And now that you're at rock bottom, you expect me to save you." She tried to defend herself, but I raised my hand, cutting her off. "I'm not finished. Do you know what I did after I left? I worked. I fought. I proved that I'm so much more than you ever imagined. Today, I have a multi-million-dollar business, international contracts, and people who respect me. And do you know what you have? Nothing. Because that's exactly what you deserve." Her face went pale. The people at nearby tables began glancing our way, sensing the tension. "Remember that ad you made to sell me?" I continued, leaning slightly forward. "Well, Samantha, today I wouldn't pay a single cent for you." She started crying, and for the first time, I felt something like relief. I didn't need to yell or do anything more. Her tears were proof that she finally understood the magnitude of what she'd lost. I stood up, placing cash on the table to cover the bill. Before leaving, I looked at her one last time. Good luck, Samantha. You're gonna need it. I walked out of that restaurant without looking back. Not because I was running away, but because that chapter of my life was finally closed. Today, my life is in a place I could hardly have imagined just a few years ago. My gaming company has grown exponentially. Our latest release was a global success, and the media regularly seeks me out for interviews. I live in a modern home overlooking the ocean, surrounded by people who value and believe in me. I've also started investing in social projects, helping young developers break into the tech industry. It's incredibly fulfilling to know that many of them have gone on to achieve their own dreams, and I'm proud to have been part of their journey. As for Samantha, I've heard she's staying with a friend, living off their charity. Her parents lost their house, and her brother failed to repay his debts. Tyson disappeared from her life, along with all the so-called friends she once held in such high regard. I should feel pity, but I don't. Every tear, every hardship she faces is a reflection of the choices she made. My greatest revenge wasn't humiliating her in that restaurant. It was showing her and the world that the strength she never saw in me was real. Today, I am living proof that no one has the right to define us by our failures. Yes, I fell, but I got up stronger than ever. And Samantha? She'll remain on the ground forever.